Hey guys, Nick here with another episode of 9 to 5 Crypto. Today we're doing a crypto dive into Gala Games. We're going to talk about what this project's all about and what it sets out to do. We're also talking about why I personally think it's going to be one of the biggest projects in blockchain gaming out there, if not the biggest. And lastly, we're talking about where the token price could go short term versus long term. It's a lot of speculation, but we'll talk about it. Also, guys, if it's your first time here, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell so you can catch all my latest videos. And you can join us over here on Twitter with my crooked thumb right there. You can see. All right, guys, let's dive on in. All right, guys, so what is Gala Games? Well, they're making blockchain games you'll actually want to play. And I think that's a pretty accurate statement from what I've seen. I've heard them described often as a video game company building out games with blockchain tech inside, rather than a blockchain technology company or group building video games. And I think that's pretty true. If you look down at their principles, they talk about fun first. We believe the blockchain should be invisible in our games. We use simple game mechanics that all players can enjoy, whether or not they consider themselves to be blockchain pros. True. This is also owned by players, right? So players get to truly own what they win in our games. If you earn or win a magical sword on the Gala game platform, it is yours. Your items and any inherited status is a verifiable asset on the blockchain you can trade to another person or play with in-game. So that's a key part of just GameFi, decentralized gaming. You have cross-interoperable economies at scale, right? So you have in-game economies and out-of-game economies. So now when people are playing games, they can grind up a sword in a game, unlock a super rare sword, spending hours playing, doing certain quests, whatever. Maybe they unlock and earn a castle. They can actually take those and then they can trade those in for, a Ferrari and a house. So in the real world, and that's what's getting really cool, is that these two worlds are blending, not just in a, metaphysical almost kind of way with the metaverse, but in a way that's also baked into like economics and value and transfer of value, right? And transfer of ownership of digital assets. There's also community rules. We don't develop games in a vacuum. We constantly engage and test assumptions with our Discord community. We build alongside a vocal community whose input shapes the direction each game's design takes. This is true. I'm very guilty of not being a super active Discord member. Please don't strike me down. But I will say every time I've been on their Discord, everyone is super nice, well behaved, surprisingly so for the internet, that's a surprise. But they are really good at giving you opportunities to beta test things. I had an opportunity to test Spider Tanks. That was the game, and it was a fun game. It was one of those kind of like somewhat of like a MOBA, a battle arena type game where you just go around and you switch out your different weapons on your Spider Tank, and they can operate in different functionalities. One of them had like turrets that you could launch from a Spider Tank that like had healing attributes where, in proximity you could heal teammates. There's another one that was, of course, like a flamethrower, which I love because, every game that I play, I was playing, I think, that Alien game that recently came out, drawing a blank on the name of it, but I was a big, a fan of the Alien films, and they always have a flamethrower in there, and I always just like burning things. So the flame tank was one of my favorites, just for some feedback if Gala's watching. All right, and it's also powered by the people. Everything with Gala Games Network depends on the player-owned node ecosystem. The Gala network is supported by users just like you who operate Gala nodes from their home computers. You can get one today still. This is very true, and we'll talk more about the node ecosystem, but I personally do own 2 different nodes that I bought over the span of roughly a year. I always kick myself, and I wish I just bought, a couple more off the gate, of course. And then it's funny, but I recently bought another one about 3 or 4 months ago, my second one. And after that, I thought the same thing today, So each time that I don't buy more nodes, I always kick myself in my butt. But more than 16,000 player-run nodes power ecosystem. And I believe that number, that number's definitely growing. They're close to, I think, 40,000 nodes sold. So we'll dive in on that a little bit later. And if I don't cover that, I'll put that out on the comments below. But yeah, guys, that's kind of what Gala Games is, somewhat in a nutshell. But you can also see more down here. They have news, Frank Miller's Sin City. They had Frank Miller Tap's concept art house and Gala Games for 30th anniversary Sin City NFT collectibles. Yeah, so those were really cool drops. I saw some people with some Sin City NFTs. Beautiful, beautiful artwork from Frank Miller himself. Really cool collaboration right there. And if we scroll on down, yep, they're also about games. Surprise, surprise. They have a couple different games here. One of them's actually launched right now, Townstar, which draws a lot of parallels to Farmville. And we're going to talk about why that is. There's a game called Mirandus, which is going to be probably one of my favorite games. It just looks like a fantasy open world RPG, something akin to like a blend between Skyrim and Minecraft. It looks really cool, and I'm just really excited to jump on in there. And I also have an exemplar NFT that's going to allow me to actually beta test the game first off, like quicker, and get in there and actually play test, which is just really cool. Then we have Echoes of Empire. That's a strategy space 4X game, which I've heard some comparisons to like kind of Clash of Clans, but a lot more complex. Graphics are a lot more dynamic there as well. But you're going to be able to, battle in star systems and, fight over mining planets for resources that have like in-game and out-of-game value. Really cool stuff. And if you own a planet, you can actually lease that out to miners to defend it, and then you can help them defend it, and then other space miners can come and attack your planet and try to fight and take some of your in-game resources that are also, out-of-game resources as well, right? So that's a really cool concept. I believe, there's going to be some really cool clans and stuff that are going to be developed out there. If you need a buddy in a clan, hit me up. I'm down. I'm going to be playing the heck out of this game. And then there is Fortified, a tower defense game. I don't know about you guys, but I love tower defense games. I don't know who really doesn't. This is more kind of maybe somewhat of a flash game, but looks better. Kind of interesting, basics, cell shaded almost graphics, but it does look cool. And I've also, I've always just loved tower defense games. Looking down some of their partners, you can see that they're partnered with Flare Networks. They're pretty big if you're in the XRP community. If you're not even in it, you should just consider looking up what Flare Networks is about. I can link them down in the comments below as well. Mazer Gaming, I'm not super familiar with. Bitrue is a big exchange. Familiarize yourself that they're a great exchange. I personally use them. Brave browser, they're great. And Polygon is big and getting bigger. All right, guys, so we can actually see a quote from their CEO directly down here as well, which we're going to talk about him a little bit more further down in the video, but let's capture this quote. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think this was literally the next phase of the internet. Everything that touches ownership is going to be affected by what's happening here. Art and music and everything that has a digital life is going to be touched by this. Anything that you thought was digital, that you thought you owned, but didn't really own, that's what's about to be revolutionized. And that, for me, was when I started really thinking about this a year ago, roughly. And that was a big moment for me where I realized, transferable value between these two kind of economies, in-game economy and out-of-game economy. Hey man, I played like 10,000 hours of Fortnite or whatever. What value did I get outside of that in-game world? This is what this is solving for, right? So now you're actually going to be able to maybe pay an electricity bill, maybe buy a Ferrari or a house, like I was saying earlier. That's where I think there's just some really cool aspects to this, because your digital ownership goes so much further, right? And so maybe even games like game sharing and things like that as well. It's really big with NFTs. All right, guys, and then you can see some of their milestones down here at the bottom. $3 million was their most expensive NFT sold. Insane. I'm going to take a guess. I don't know if this is correct. If someone from Gala Games is watching this, please, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. But my guess is that $3 million expensive NFT, the most expensive that was sold on here, I'm going to guess that was a castle in Mirandus. There was very limited, like only like a castle or two or 10 or so in some of these. And I'm guessing that that's what one of them was, because those were going for a pretty penny. There's also roughly 1.3 million monthly active users. This is only going to grow with the price action of Gala and as this project, gets more and more coverage, which is why I'm here. I think this project is so, I don't even know how it's underrated, because it's amazing, but just a lot of people aren't talking about it. So I wanted to make kind of this as an awareness video, as a high level overview, as I kind of ramble on as well. But they got 90 plus team members and they're growing. And they have 26,000 total NFTs sold. So yeah, guys, that's kind of what Gala Games is all about. So guys, now we can take a look at their stores as well. They have stores for each of their games where they have all these different NFTs that you can purchase and you can play with in-game. If you are a node holder or a node operator, you are actually rewarded different NFTs periodically as well, which is really cool. But here's some of the NFTs for the game spider tanks I was talking about. You can see the muzzle, epic body, a Gatling gun, epic weapons, and so on. And if we drop in here, you can see more. And you can look up by game what kind of NFTs they're selling. So, and guys, I would highly suggest if you are interested in Gala Games and their NFTs, probably go through their site, right? Go directly to, the manufacturer, so to speak, because there was some NFTs being sold on OpenSea that right around the same time they were the planets for Echoes of Empire, that space strategy game I was talking about. And there was people on OpenSea that were trying to pretend to be kind of like Gala Games and such, and they were trying to sell these NFTs. And they were selling them at half off and stuff. You're like, oh man, that seems like a really good deal. If it seems like a really good deal, it's probably too good to be true, right? So I just stay and side with the, on the side on caution, caution here. Just stay cautionary out there. That's the message of the day, because there's a lot of people out there that will try to scam you. Okay, guys. So just be safe out there. Do your research, and if you're gonna buy NFTs, I probably suggest directly going through Gala Games, or just making sure you're working with a verified user on OpenSea that's legitimate, and be careful. All right. But yeah, here's the rest of these different spider tank bodies and so on. If you jump over to different games, you can see what they're offering. Yep, there's the planets NFTs for Echoes of Empire. Those are sold out. I actually got one that was a rare one, which I was super excited about. There's some, I think, for Fortified. Yep, Fortified sold out of Arrow Towers. Mirandus, I think, has some of their exemplars up. Yes. So guys, these are exemplars I was talking about earlier. You can actually buy these, and then you can get early access to playtests, and then you can earn in-game currency. Morantium, I believe it's called. And then that is also, I believe, transferable to out-game economy, value, US dollar or whatever. So pretty cool. And you'll also just get a playtest a game that I think is going to be awesome. And if you look in here and you click on one of them, you can see that they, excuse me guys, you can see that they have unique abilities here. So this one can go much longer without food or sleep. So that's pretty cool. And he's an orc. Who doesn't love orcs, right? All right, guys, and here's one of the whys. I'm so pumped about them, along with some of the whats. Some of the whats are whys as well, the NFTs and the games themselves. That's why I'm pumped about them. But Eric Schurmeyer is their CEO, and if you have really good leadership, sometimes they can bring up a company, and if you have really bad leadership, sometimes they can bring it down, right? Increase turnover, and things just don't get completed on time, milestones aren't met, and it can really just have a negative impact. And if you look at who Eric Schurmeyer is, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. You do a little dive on him, you can see down here his work experience. It's not off the gate, you see it. But you look down further, he was a co-founder or founder, one of the founders of Zynga Games. So guys, what is Zynga Games? Well, Zynga changed the game forever with broadly popular games like Farmville. If you're older, you definitely heard of this game. If you heard your parents playing games on Facebook, you've probably heard of this game. But Zynga Poker, Draw Something, and Words with Friends. These are all very popular games for quite some time, which are played by hundreds of millions of players each and every month. Also, Zynga just got a cool company logo I really support. I'm a dog person. I like animals in general. But our company logo is a faithful rendering of CEO Mark Pincis's, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name correctly, now immortal dog Zynga, an American bulldog. Around the company in San Francisco, Zynga was legendary for her human-like qualities, which is just really cool. I like that story. But yeah, guys, you're looking at some of their games. You can see right here, Farmville once took over Facebook. Now everything is Farmville. Very interesting. I mean, Farmville was a huge hit in the early 2009s when Facebook was still nascent. And I mean, people were playing it for years. At its peak, the game had 32 million daily active users and nearly 85 million players overall. Yeah, and can you guess what game that's similar to? Right here, guys. Townstar. Basically Farmville with blockchain. So You know, it was a super successful game, and now they have a blockchain version of that essentially. Do you think it's going to be successful, or does it have a chance? You know, well, that's one of the reasons why I think they're going to be so big. They've diversified different types of games. They have different game devs working with them, and they have a robust team of very dedicated developers and a community behind them. And they also have, you know, historic success with similar type games. So that's awesome. All right, guys, and here's another one of the whys. I'm so pumped about this, and I think it's going to be a huge project, is that, hey, it's very decentralized, right? And it's growing. There's going to be total of 50,000 nodes out there. I think they're in like their 40,000 sold, so there's not a lot left, but there's Gala nodes, and you can get Gala nodes or founders nodes today. So the Gala network is supported by users just like you who operate Gala nodes from their home computers, or you can actually do Amazon Web Services, so you can, you know, compute it over the cloud. By buying a license to operate a Gala node, you open up opportunities to receive rewards for your contribution to the network. This can include Gala, limited edition NFTs, and opportunities to help the Gala Games ecosystem grow. Pretty cool. Have any questions, again, chat with us on Discord. It's another reason why I'm just pumped about them, is because their founders nodes, you can see, are sold right here. Here's actually the latest one. I want to drop that really quick to you guys. Yeah, so their latest one sold for $47,000, almost $48,000. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And that was node number 39,655. So yeah, they're at about 40,000. They're selling for $47,500. And I was reading an article, and if this is correct, the last node, the 50,000 node, will sell for roughly $93,000. So go look that up and, you know, see for yourself. But that's pretty promising, as just from, you know, an ROI perspective, right? A return on investment. But I'm also just pumped about the community. Okay, guys, I mentioned this earlier, but there's a lot of really cool, nice people in Gala Games, you know, from their development side, from their leadership side. Bitbender, if you listen to any of his AMAs, guys, just so cool, nice, laid back, just funny. He'll answer all of your questions if you're curious about him. So go give @Go Gala Games a follow. I'll put their Twitter handle down in the description below. Check them out. They're definitely worth following, and definitely just, you know, keeping a pulse on as we move forward in this market. But, you know, hang out, you know, listen to one of their AMAs, ask them some questions about their games, you know, and they'll ask them, they'll answer them, right? So, but there's a huge community, and they have thousands of people in here, and it's just growing. So really cool. And if you become like a founder, you have specific founder nodes, you know, Discord conversations and stuff. You can go gold as well, which sometimes they'll give you like a quick heads up on, like, you know, something new coming to the ecosystem. But generally speaking, they're really transparent with their community as a whole, but they're also really transparent with, you know, people outside of the community that just might, you know, need some exposure and to learn about it, right? So give them a check out. And again, I'll drop their Twitter handle down in the description below. All right. And also, you can see that if you don't just want to invest in them, if you don't just want to get into blockchain gaming, you know, if you're a developer, if you're just, you know, wanting to do business development, marketing, anything like that, I'm sure they could probably use. But they actually have a career side as well, so you can work with them. And they have a list of jobs available. Yeah, again, engineering, Gala Labs, marketing, Miranda specific, operations, Townstar, UI, all that stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, if you like blockchain gaming, if this sounds like a good culture fit for you, I mean, give them a shout out. Definitely check them out. Again, I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. I just have a little, you know, game crush on this company. They're just really cool. And so I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention. All right, guys. So we're on to our last section here. It's been a show. Thank you for staying with me. If you have stayed this long, if you just skipped ahead, that's totally fine too. I do that sometimes. But anyhow, we're going to talk about kind of where we're going to speculate roughly on where the price could go, right? So if we're looking at Gala Games today, let me hit the refresh, make sure we get the latest data. But if we're looking at Gala Games today, it's up 22.22%. It currently has a market cap roughly of $3 billion, $3.7 billion, so almost $4 billion. So you can see market cap is calculated by current price times circulating price. So the current price is 53 cents. That is times the circulating supply, and that's listed at 6.98 billion Gala. So that's how they're getting market cap. So guys, we have to keep expectations realistic. I'm not going to like downput this or something, but it's had a pretty large run up already. So if you look at, 3 months ago down here, if not even 3 months ago on the chart, but you look at like November 8th, it was over here 9 cents. Look back further, October, 8.5. You look back 9.9, talking like 2 cents on this chart. Is this actually right? Hold on, guys. Apologies. Yeah, okay. This is looking right. So if you look at it, it's had a huge run up, right? So that doesn't mean that there's not gains to be had. That's not what this means. And this doesn't mean that it's a bad long-term hold. If, again, everything we talked about prior, if you believe in a project, if you believe in what they're setting out to do, if you can see the value behind their team, behind their product or service, and behind their culture, you can make that choice on your own. And again, this is not financial advice, but I'm one of those people where like, hey, I have invested and I'll continue to invest in them. And if we hit a bear market at some point, I'm going to definitely invest a lot more into them if that price goes back down, especially so, right? But looking at the price today, it's 53 cents. You have a market cap of 3.7 billion. If you compare it to a similar type of token, right? Axie Affinity, you might be familiar with. They're like kind of like Pokemon, Digimon, cats, cat type things you breed and fight. I'm probably not doing it justice, but again, go check it out. But if you look at their market cap right now, they're almost to $8.5-9 billion. Okay, and they're worth 138 bucks. However, their max supply of tokens, total supply, is 270 million versus Gala tokens, total supply of 35 billion. Okay, so there's a lot more circulating around here, but that's not exactly the point, right? The point is that while we're not talking hundreds of dollars necessarily this market cycle, could we see this market cap double, maybe triple, potentially to a little over 10 billion, 13, 14 billion? Potentially. I mean, when things get really euphoric and crazy, you could see that. So could we be talking about maybe double in price to $1? We could be. That would be roughly, a $7 billion market cap. Now, if you're talking about 11.5 billion, that would triple the price. So then we could be talking about $1.50 Gala. So guys, that's my speculation in the short term. Now, if you want to talk long term, we could talk maybe in the comments below, or you can hit me up on Twitter or whatever, and we could just kind of brainstorm about it. But you got to consider how much more money, like hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars, that could come into crypto. So if you're here for the long run, if you're here for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, just down the road, I mean, this asset class as a whole could boom more and more and more. And if regulation comes and gets some of the scam projects out and things like that, you could see a flood of money coming from the scam projects going into legitimate cryptocurrencies. So if you find a project that has legitimate fundamentals, like GameFi, decentralized gaming, they have, good team, all those things that we went over today, you might think, hey, maybe their future value could be a lot higher than $1 or $2 or $3 or $4 or $5. Who knows? That's speculation. But again, that's not to reflect current market conditions. Okay, guys? So anyway, that's my end rant on that, and we'll go to the cutaway here. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap on our crypto dive today. Let me know down in the comments below if you like crypto dives, if you want to see more of them on other projects. I actually really enjoyed doing that. I talked a lot. It might have been kind of draining for some. Apologies on that. But let me know, anything positive or negative, constructive criticism is accepted as well. So I appreciate all of it. But anyhow, guys, let me know what you thought about the project, why you think it might be big or not, or fail. Just let me know what your opinion is, and then where you think the token price could go in the short term versus long term. Do you think it could hit $1 short term or $1.50? Do you think in the long term it could hit over $5? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment below. And until next time, guys, stay safe out there. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, whatever you're celebrating, and coffee's on me.